Hello everyone, my name is Atta and today I will be joined by my friend Shakib to talk about the impact of COVID-19 in our daily life. Before I start my presentation, I would like to share with you a small story. Ali is from Kenya. Ali told me that the COVID-19 has had a negative impact in our daily life. However, he believes that the pandemic also presents an opportunity. That's only if we could have revoked the opportunity between the relationship between our government and that of individual, which is the citizens, to follow the restriction like the lockdown, wearing mask and social distancing. Then Ali believes that many countries could have been in a better situation than they are right now. That is what Ali believes. This is the table of contents. We will do an introduction. We will talk about the effect in our daily life and education, economic crisis, recommendation, conclusion, and reference. Introduction. COVID is the fifth documented pandemic after the 1918 flu. It was first reported in China and then subsequently spread worldwide. According to WHO on March 11, they announced that the COVID-19 can be characterized as a global pandemic, and around 42 million right now are affected by the virus. In the next few slides, we will discuss how it affects in our daily life and also on education and also on economic crisis. We also did a survey asking different people to recommend us what they think the COVID has had in their life. Finally, we concluded our research in the conclusion. Let's dive into our effect in our daily life. First is it already has slowed down in the global economy. Work, shopping, or getting around has changed this COVID-19. Also, the lockdown has had negative impact in some industries, not to forget, like the tourism sector, solar sector, and the electricity, and many others. Here are some of the five dimensions we think it has affected in social, healthcare, technology, economics, and also sustainability. In social, the closure of business like the restaurants, hotels were closed. Social distancing from your family and your friends. Service sectors are being closed has a negative. Avoiding traveling, postponement of activity, also cancellation of Olympics, undue stress. Next is healthcare. Those who are infected with the COVID-19 had to go quarantine. Medical need medical for the patient. Requirement for high protection is another one. Doctors at high risk that are protecting us from treating us, the patients with the COVID. Patients with other diseases are neglected. High medical supply, disruption of medical supply chain. In technology also, what effect it has is like changes in human behavior. There have been a lot of changes, like the IA in human jobs are being used, more social distancing affected, so remoting of working environment like in our education system, which we will talk about it. User unclear of how to get IT support in we cannot neglect the economy. Cash flow in the market, slowing down the revenue growth, slowing of manufacturing, high unemployment, and disruption of supply chain. Sustainability, responding to climate change, amplification of investor, a less globalized world, increase in poverty and in inequality. How did it has affected on our education? Here are some. Before the pandemic, we already had a problem challenges facing the on our education. Right now, since the pandemic has also had a light disruption of our education system, and the closure of instruction, like schools were supposed to be closed, like learners could not go to school, and teachers were told to use a new method of teaching the students. Here are some of the challenges now the education is facing. Shifting from face-to-face to online classes, one challenge. Another challenge is travel restriction. You cannot go see the teacher or someone else. Another one is international student mobility. International students at abroad cannot go back to their home country. Another one is internet access and reliable electricity, like in rural areas or poor countries, could not affect could affect that. Mental healthy. Another one is we still don't know when the schools are to reopen or education system. Another one is increase in dropout. Many people stop studying because they could not afford or something else. In the case of Kenya, the 2020 calendar year was considered as a loss, and because of uh, people could not access the technology of online classes, and now they have to do again that year, the whole year. Brother Shakib will go through on the economic crisis, and that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Ata, for your nice presentation. And hello, I am Shakib, and today I will continue our presentation with economic crisis. Let's start. Economic crisis. While lockdown have pronounced effect on global economic, it is believed this lockdown has been the greatest economic disaster since the Great Depression in 1930s. The COVID-19 pandemic has had more negative impact on activity in the first half of 2020 than anticipated. As we have witnessed during the current crisis, most countries have largely responded to the coronavirus pandemic through a complete lockdown of their economic activities. According to the International Monetary Fund, the global economy is projected to shrink by 3% this year, much worse than the economic fallout after the 2018 financial crisis. Below are the factors which is unemployment, financial panic, international trade, and globalization. Recommendation. As Atta said, we did a survey between three people from three different locations. So our first person is Ahmed Osman, and he's 28 years old and he's from Kenya. So he said, since food prices are higher, primarily meat, you will have to budget your shopping even more than before. The inability to travel because most countries have strict restriction or deny entry for visitors. It has made a personal greeting like handshake or physical contact less than the normal. There are small businesses that went out of business since the government mandated to shut down that I used to go to buy snacks or sports memorabilia. It has highlighted the importance of personal hygiene. Second person is Fahmida. She's 30 years old and she's from Bangladesh. And she said, in COVID-19 pandemic period, most international students studying China suffer from strain, depression, and fretfulness. Living in alternate time zone from school and professor is forced to stay awake all night to complete online classes, seminar, and some are conducting with poor internet connection and social isolation. Completing a degree on time become a core challenge for final year student. It should be stated that online learning process is often discriminatory. It can be a solution for a short time, but not for a long time. And our last person is Steven, 32 years old, and he's from China. So he said, the lockdown have affected my business that bring food to the table. Our business have been growing only to be distributed by COVID-19. And now we continue to working from home because of the restriction and social distancing. Conclusion. As we enter COVID-19 recovery phase, The economic disaster caused by coronavirus pandemic could single a new chapter in financial history. Presently, the impact of COVID-19 in daily life, at least so far, has cast negative shadow. Faculty members should embrace technology and pay careful attention to student experience to make learning rich and effective. The COVID-19 has affected the source of supply and affect the global economy. Economic experts estimate that the overall loss to global GDP across 2020 and 2021 could be in the range of over 9 trillion. As the world recovers from the virus, there is no doubt that the economy will begin to open up. The true impact of unprecedented pandemic remains to be seen. Reference. So here are the reference we use for our presentation, and huge thank you for listening.